On Wednesday, Brazil's working class housing movements took to the streets to demand an extension to a temporary ban on evictions that is due to expire on Monday, one day after the presidential elections. From Sao Paulo, our correspondent Brian Mia reports.
In cities across Brazil today, thousands of activists from the housing movements came to the streets to demand that the government continues an order blocking evictions that is scheduled to be lifted the day after the October 30th presidential elections that could leave over 1 million people homeless.
The victory that we achieved of freezing evictions during the pandemic was very important. But we want to transform this into a national policy that doesn't permit city governments to order evictions, requiring them to provide social housing instead.
In a country with a deficit of over 6 million units of dignified housing, the Bolsonaro administration has been a disaster. It cut the social housing budget by over 90%, vetoed a law that would have enabled renters to avoid eviction by negotiating their debt with their landlords. And at a moment when 77% of Brazilian families are in debt, it's trying to pass through a law that would give banks the right to confiscate the houses of debtors.
If it depended on Bolsonaro, everyone would be homeless or dead because Bolsonaro doesn't like the people from the favelas and he doesn't like the homeless people. He hates people who fight for housing rights and hasn't enacted any type of social housing policy in the cities or in the countryside. He hasn't enacted agrarian reform and won't enact urban reform either.
The housing movements hope that Lula is elected this Sunday and that after taking office he restores all of the social housing policies that were eliminated after the 2016 coup. Brian Mir, TeleSUR, São Paulo.